Babe, thought find out and every conversation explores beyond overthinking, beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's a fellow podcast host, the Wallet Podcast, empowering the sandwich generation to build strong financial habits. None other than Mr. Anthony Liver. Yay! Thank you for the applause, Mr. Anthony. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back. It's been fun.
Yes, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, no, you did perfect intro. The only thing that you missed is that how great you are as a guest. I mean, you've been running this for so long, and I appreciate you having me back on here. It's been fun last time, and I dropped the opportunity. I mean, I had to take the opportunity to come in, and I greatly appreciate it to be here.
Thank you again, Mr. Anthony. And today let's talk about leadership to build trust in your team as a servant leader.
Yeah.
Interesting topic. So tell
Yes.
us what it's all about.
So, one of the things when it comes to leadership that a lot of people overlook is the command center that you have, which is your insight, your expertise, and the reason why you're in that leadership position in the first place. One of the things that a lot of people will do, they will respect the position, but they may not respect the person. And what I mean by that is, yes, your subordinates will hate you to the nth degree, but because you're the
Yes.
leader, they will follow you. But again, when it comes to leading to serving your staff and your team, one of the things that you have to remember is to be kind versus being nice and being liked. One of the things that people will respect you most is if you are taking the time to really hone in, to really letting people know this is where you plan to go, this is where you plan to take the team based on the information that you got from the team, which means that you're actually listening to the team. You taking time out to interview the team, you taking time out to figure out what are those pain points, what gets them up at night, what mean not gets them up, what brings them to work every day, what keeps them up at night, and so that you as a leader can provide the best outcome for the team with the information that you have. Now, the team will ride for you and support you long as you are including them because they feel part of the mission. They feel part of the project that you have going forward. And if they don't feel part of that or don't see themselves in the future of your vision or where you want to take the team, you will lose the team immediately. Another way to actually lose that team is by not rectifying a lot of the bad employees or the bad members of the team. How are you going to pluck out the weeds? How are you going to get rid of the donkeys on the team and make sure that you keep all your thoroughbreds? Now, keep in mind, if you want to look at it as an animal kingdom, everybody plays a part to make sure that um, everything is running the way it's supposed to be. So, yes, you might have some donkeys, but sometimes the donkey's trying to run with thoroughbreds. You're like, you need to go back. You need to go back over there with the rest of the donkeys. Y'all got y'all plan in place, so y'all need to make sure y'all over there. But not everybody is meant to be in different areas and spots on the team at the same time. And that is one of the things as a leader you have to figure out and really be mindful of. So when you're serving as a leader, your main job is to support the team. And that's what it means to be a servant leader. It's to provide all the tools necessary for them to be successful. And if they're not successful, now you need to figure out, well, you gave them all the resources. What's going on now? Is it an educational thing? Is it why you in your head at this point on why you're not successful in what you say you can do? You set the parameters, let them set the parameters. But you can set like, hey, as a leader, you can set the time frame, Like, hey, I need this done by this time. Now, as a leader, is it okay for you to lie to your team? Sometimes. And what I mean by that is in a good way. So you can lie about when the project is needed to be done versus when it's actually need to be done. And the reason being is that it's part of the Parkinson's law is that as long as it takes to get something done, you will take that long to get it done. So Daniel and I, we were just talking about it before. How long have we been doing our podcasts? And how many podcasts have we done and started? Now, could I go out tomorrow and just start a podcast or right after this call and start one? Sure, because I've already built up the muscle and been doing it for 6 years so that I can start a podcast today and have it up and running for tomorrow. But do I really want to? And that's a whole nother thing, but that'll become a whole nother topic. So that's what being a servant leader is to me and how to actually kind of learn your team to make sure that you're successful.
Very well said, Sir Anthony. You need an applause for that. And yes, a clapping indeed. I think they modified my clap. I don't know why.
Oh.
They modified it. So let's talk about the vulnerability paradox, Mr. Anthony. Vulnerability builds intimacy, like a
Hmm.
pillar of trust, but oversharing can erode credibility. What is your guidance for being vulnerable as a leader? What's safe to share? So I don't know. Let's figure it out together.
Yeah, when it
Versus,
comes,
yes, versus what undermines the team's sense of safety.
yeah, so your your job as a leader for your team is to provide a psychological safe space. And that provides the ability for the team to be vulnerable with you and you to be vulnerable with them. And the easiest way to kind of be vulnerable is to really have those one-on-one conversations with the team member, each team member. Get to know them. You can share a little bit about your story, about your life, and some of the things that you've overcome. But talk about those overcome moments, those canon moments that shape the way how that impact you. And one of the things that I used to do with my teams, we used to have weekly stand up meetings. I didn't like to do everyday ones, but I used to catch up with them once a week just to kind of let them know, hey, what's going on and so forth. But I always started each of those meetings with a story. And usually it was a life lesson. So one of them, I told them about a time that I was actually applying to work for one of the government agencies, but you had to do a fitness program. And I was just telling them, I was like, I was not a runner. I had no clue about this agency at all, but I was going to try. And the fact of the matter is that I was supposed to run a mile and a half within 13 minutes.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things is that I was like, I haven't ran since like high school. So it's like I'm already like I think I was in my mid 20s or early 30s. And I'm just trying this out. And I was like, man, I feel so out of shape, out of breath. And I only ran a quarter of a mile. And I had to walk the rest. But what I told them is that what I did, I kept pushing myself to the point where I can at least run around the whole thing. I didn't care about time. I cared about the output. So the lesson in that was to say, like, hey, granted, there's something or someplace you want to be as us as a team, but to not give up. Stop measuring or going by the measure that somebody else is trying to put forward for you. Let's complete the task. We can worry about speed later. But if it's something new, try it out. See how far you can get. But actually set realistic expectations for yourself and not to overexert yourself because you can hurt yourself. So, and that was one of the stories I shared with them. And to this day, they still remember that story, but they don't remember the work that they did. But they remember that story and how it impacted them. And what I was telling them as a leader is just that we all here to learn, we all here to try. So let's give it a shot.
Yes, people try and try until You succeed. Don't give up. The listening litmus test, Mr. Anthony. Most leaders listen to respond. Servant leaders listen to understand. What does your active, full presence listening look like in a one on one? How do you prove you heard them?
There are several techniques. And in my early career, actually, there's a book that I
Hmm.
use. Um, that's why you have an extensive library and you know what's in your library. So you can pull up books very quickly. One of the things, the books that I use is called The Art of Asking, and it's by Terry J. Fadden. So that you can actually ask better questions to get better answers. This book really helped me understand to listen with intent and really get down to the nitty gritty. So, say for instance, Daniel, I would say like, hey, somebody on the team is really no. I'll say this. I'll say like something is happening at home, and for some reason, I'm just having a bad day. Trying to come in, trying to do the best that I can here at work, but it's really irritating me. And as a leader, it's your job. You can do one or two things. Well, several things you can do, but one of them is not to do is just kind of say, well, you better suck it up. I need this done, and then forget about them. It not provides anything, but is actually telling the employee or the subordinate that one, you don't care about what's going on with them at their lives. Two, you don't care about who they are as a person. Three, you're already not listening. You're just looking for things to get done. And four, it's actually saying um, that they're worthless. And if an employee feels worthless, they're not going to do anything. So, getting back to listening and really clarifying is to sit down and ask them specifically, like, hey, so tell me about this. Think about it like a kid with a drawing and they drew whatever, say like a 5-year old just learning crayons and they drew something on the thing. It looks like a hodgepodge to you. But if you ask them to say, like, can you just explain that to me? What is this blue thing here? What is that brown thing that's over there? Um, is this supposed to be a bird over here? If you say this is supposed to be a bird, they'll say, no, that's not a bird, that's an airplane. You know what I'm saying? Like they will get on you about it. But because you took time to actually learn it, they feel horrible already coming up to you. They already nervous. But because you took time to listen to them and really understand what it is that they're saying and what they're trying to get at, that means the world to them. Even as an adult, we all get nervous talking to people, reaching out to people, even talking on this show. Like, but because you and I, Daniel, we chat before, I'm like, oh, I know, Daniel, let's come on, we can make this work. But if I was when I was new to you, I was super nervous. I was like, is he gonna approve me being on this show? What is this gonna be like? But you, as the leader of your podcast, your job is to make the guests feel comfortable. Make sure that the guests feel as if they know what's going to happen. You're leading the guests on, and that would proves you as a good leader because you're listening with intent, and that you really want to help them understand and have a good experience on your show. So I gave you three examples of ways to kind of listen and the impact that you can have on that. Hopefully, that was helpful.
Truly helpful, Mr. Anthony, and very well said. So let's talk about the psychological safety as a job one. How do you not only permit but actively solicit a reward dissenting opinions, bad news, or a dumb questions in the meetings? What's you go to a phrase to invite pushback?
Hmm. Well, it depends on if you're a new leader, but if you've been leading this team for a while, you already kind of have a sense. I'm gonna start with the people who already are leaders and they already know the team and stuff like that. You come in the room, you like hear this one person about to open up their mouth, you just hear everybody, oh, come on, you gotta say something again. That person you might just want to listen to and take a moment and be like, okay, you gotta treat them like ChatGPT or any AI model. Like, look, Keep your answers to 2 sentences. Cool. And then, but let that as a layout for the meetings going forward so everybody follow those parameters. But then you also open up for contradiction. So you can say, all right, well, let's hear what they got to say. The whole team could be against it. And I've had this happen where the whole team was against what somebody was saying. And what I did was I put this person on the side quest. I said, we can handle your work while you go on this side quest because you said this is supposed to work the way it's supposed to. As a servant leader, I provided them the resources that they necessarily need to get it done. And also they told me the time frame. So they went out, did the research, they did further research, and then they came back to the team to provide us with the findings. And so because I was allowed them to go head on and try an experiment, that provided open opportunities for other people and other members on the team to be like, he's actually listening. Let me go head on and try something else. So when it comes to a brand new leader trying to figure out the dynamics of the team, this is the importance of having those one-on-ones. But usually you don't get a chance to do a one-on-one. You have to kind of meet and greet everybody and so forth. You can set the boundaries right then and there. And the way how you do that is by showing up on time, being prepared for the meeting, and actually saying exactly how you're feeling about it. It's okay to share your feelings, but don't overshare your feelings. Like, oh man, I'm so scared to do this. No, tell them straight up. It's like, hey, this is my first time. I want to make sure I get it right with you all. But I do not like people interrupting other people when we having conversations. I want to make sure everybody is heard clearly because I need all the information. Like you need to talk about the importance for you as a leader, so in order for you to make the right decisions at the right time. And then also, I need somebody to also, when you complaining about something, I need you to come in with a solution. Once you set up those 3 rules, everybody, I would say 3 or odd numbers are the key to any business or life in general because it's one of the 3 numbers that Nikola Tesla said. It's a 3, 6, and 9 are the numbers. And for some reason, 3 sticks with us all the time, even when it comes to our phone numbers. That's why it's like 3 digits in the front. Then you got the next 3 digits, and then it's just a random set of 4. There's a reason why they broken out by hyphens. It's only for the human side of the house so we can understand it. But when it comes to machines, they don't care. It can just be a string of numbers. But this is coming back to when you're setting your rules for your meeting, is that it's a lot easier to kind of make sure that everybody's heard. So by setting those 3 rules up front helps you out in the long run.
Great answer, Mr. Anthony. Truly, truly empowering. So, as a podcast host, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Ooh. My short-term goal for my podcast is to try to find out how can I get to that 1% globally.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what you try to
you're
get to.
almost there. Come
Yeah.
on.
The second short term, I guess, as my podcast is to, how can I say, I want to learn how to monetize to actually kind of help marketing some of these episodes so that we can get more listeners and trying to share more around the world because it is a global podcast, but I want to have more people listening to it. So that's my thing, is trying to help monetize it so we can reinvest into the business. Long term, um, I have to say, not mainly the podcast, but the business as a whole. I actually do want to. I'm actually am working on a podcast network, so that's coming up soon.
Yes, good luck to that and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be a podcast host like us?
Like us, take action. I mean, honestly, don't worry about the microphone. Don't worry about the mixers. Don't worry about all that stuff, because I started. I mean, I started with my phone, and that's how I started my podcast. The audio was there. You heard something. I ain't gonna say it's the best, But you heard it. And the main thing about it is about the content that you're providing in the context of the content, because that's your job. And also the energy behind it. If you're not excited about the topic, the audience can hear that. And if it's a serious topic, then be serious. Like really set the mood, set the tone, because you're very personal. We are the closest that you'll ever get to anybody. Like Daniel, if you were like in my face and in my ear, like this close talking to me, I'm like personal space. But because as a podcaster, you're in my ear, I want to make sure that, I'm one to listen to what you have to say, and I want to make sure that I hear you clearly. So just think about that as a podcast host for those of you who are looking to become a podcast host.
Yes, definitely people clarity, and thank you for that empowering answer, Mr. Anthony. And people out there, stop procrastinating. If you have the passion to talk and talk and talk with essence, people, with essence,
Yes.
because there's a lot of people that talk and talk and talk, but without essence. You need to have the essence so that
Yeah.
people will listen to you. So, Mr. Anthony, the soft label servant leadership is something mischaracterized as a soft management. How
Mm.
do you hold people accountable fiercely and kindly, proving that the high standard and keep care is not the opposite, but not but necessities?
Hmm. Can you break it down one more time? Just bring
Yes,
it like a
definitely.
smaller. Yeah.
Yes, because nowadays, if you are a leader, must be you're tough. Okay, you need to
Oh,
follow me like a Hitler.
yeah.
Now we are talking about a servant leadership, which is they saying it's soft. How
Mm.
do you connect to this tough leadership to be a servant leader?
Yeah. So there are different types of followers.
Yes.
And not every follower is going to follow your leadership. It's just like how you and I as podcast hosts. Not every listener is for us, which is fair. Now, when you come to a job where they kind of like you're stuck with this person, that is going to be entertaining. So I'm gonna talk about it not from a leadership perspective, but as an employee and as a follower side of the house, because it's easier to kind of understand that first. You have to be, I guess I could say, you have to be a follower before you become a leader. So, order to be a good follower is to really learn the leadership style. There is, like I said, you got to learn your library. So, there's a book called the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And I highly recommend to check it out by John Maxwell. Some people don't like John C. Maxwell, but this book right here helped me out a lot when it comes to understanding my leadership style. So, with that book, um, sorry, I did lose train of thought here a little bit regarding to make sure you're a good leader. But we're going back to the follower. To be a good follower, you need to understand your leader, and to do that is by asking them exactly what does success look like for them. And I would think that would actually set the tone for the conversation that you have with your leader. And then from a leader perspective, you can talk about, hey, what does success look like for you as a leader to the rest of the team? And from when it comes to kindness and that hardship, it's more than likely it is a barrier that most leaders put in place because they don't want to feel vulnerable. They don't want to seem weak, and they want to seem like, hey, everybody has to be tough and the way how we do things and so forth. Um, but I'm not that leader, so I really can't speak on that type of leadership to be, straight, rigid, and everything like that. I'll get that way if everything else doesn't work out, and that comes back down to the accountability piece. And that's when they getting close to being fired at that point because we talked about it, you're still not following it, and you saying things, you're not meeting the expectations, you're dragging down the rest of the team. Or I could just say like, hey, this particular position is just not for you. let's move you over to another part. And that goes back to when I was saying like everybody is different parts in the animal kingdom when they be a part of the team. Like, your specialty is this, but you're trying to run with the thoroughbreds and it's slowing down the pack. We got to bring you back or put you into another area.
And very well said, Mr. Anthony. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, people, please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in 6th season, abstract poetry in 3rd season, and my book 101 review in 6th season as well, Comedy 101 in 3rd season, and my Food 101 in 6th season 2, Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 review, Music 101 are in 5th season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its 4th season, Spiritual Awakening, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, of course, my Bible verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Anthony, if you could only give one piece of advice to a new leader who wants to build a truly trusted, high-performing team through a servant leadership, what would that single foundational practice be?
It would be, if it's a practice, it would be learn the way how you learn and master that. Mostly because if you know the way how you learn, it would actually help impact the rest of the team. So I want to leave y'all with that and read a book. See, read a book.
Read a book, people. You need to learn every day. Okay, it's better to read than watching, because once you read a book, it will function. Your brain will function. Every little bit nuance of your brain will function. Just like watching TV, it's already there. What's the color of the hair? What's the color of the surroundings? It's already there. But once you are reading, your mind explore the inability that make you expound more, which make your brain work, right?
Yep.
Use your brain 100%, not 10%, as they said. I don't know if that's true. They said, no, that's not true. I have a guest that we are talking about that. He said, no, that's not true. It's Science 101, people. Please do listen to it. We talk about anything under the science. Like a while ago, we talked about we're not using our brain 100%. And my guest said, no, that's not true. It's a lie. Whatever it is, people, please do listen, Science 101. So, Mr. Anthony, can you please invite our listeners to support your podcast itself? Congratulations, and hoping for the best for you.
Thank you. Yes, check me out at aboutthatwallet.com. You can check out the podcast About That Wallet on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And I go live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And sometimes I do throw my live shows on the RSS feed, so you can check those out. All right, that's all I got. Thanks.
Yes, and I think you have a coming podcast. Tell us, Mr. Anthony, you're brewing something. You're brewing something anyway. So tell us, what is a new podcast that you will?
Yeah, I was thinking about calling it Podcast 101 with Anthony.
With Anthony and Daniel. Yes, why not? Why not? Yes, people, let's support Mr. Anthony Weaver, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy for the podcast will rise. So, Mr. Anthony, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Welcome, people. See you soon.